so this is going to be week 17 pregnancy vlog, and I'm so proud of myself. 2 weeks in a row I remembered to do them, and I actually have notes this time, so it won't be so ramble. I feel so organized. So today is Monday, and I just turned 18 weeks, so this is looking back at week 17, and it was a very crazy week, a lot going on. So it's definitely been getting harder to sleep. I just can't get comfortable enough. I have a pillow. I haven't gotten one of the pregnancy pillows. I don't know if y'all have had those and you think they're great, then let me know, because I hate to spend all the money on one of those if I'm not going to like it. So I've just been using an extra pillow that we had that I'll like put between my knees usually, and that helps my hips. So it just hasn't been, I don't sleep as good. I wake up a couple times trying to get comfortable. And then Monday, well I guess Sunday night going into Monday, I woke up, it was about 6 o'clock, I woke up with the worst Charlie horse ever had in my left calf. It hurt so bad. I couldn't do anything about it. It was just like one of the most painful things ever. I don't get Charlie horses often, so I don't know if that's how they always feel, but it hurt. And so then, I had a hard time going back to sleep from that. And after that, that morning, my leg was still sore, my calf was still sore. And I actually fell down the stairs. Luckily at our house, it's just what used to be the garage, so it's like a 2-step little stairs. But I twisted my right ankle and fell straight forward. Luckily, caught myself on my knees and my hands, so I didn't hit my stomach, but just didn't, and so I felt fine afterwards. But then as I got to work and I was sitting there, which I'm sure it was a combination of my mind and just from where I had tensed up from falling, but I started to feel like my lower back was hurting and I just felt just uncomfortable. So I called my doctor's office and I was like, I fell and I just want to come in and get checked out. And at first, because the doctor wasn't there that day, it's just the midwife. And at first the midwife, tried to say, oh, just take some Motrin and you'll be fine. In fact, if you didn't hit your stomach, you're fine. But having lost 2 babies before, always more paranoid, so I was like, no, I want to come in. I want to come get checked just to make sure. So I went in that afternoon and they did an ultrasound just to look over and make sure that all the babies were moving and had heartbeats and everything like that. So she said everything looked good. She didn't measure or do anything like that, but from what she could see, she said that everything looked good. So that was Monday. And then Tuesday, we got a new car. We had purchased a new car, my vehicle, in January, end of January, beginning of February. Got a nice new car being the key word, and so it would be a tight squeeze to fit 3 car seats in there. I don't know for sure, if we could get them, even getting the smallest car seats, if we'd be able to fit 3 in the car. And then on top of that, trying to carry a stroller or anything like that, it was going to be very tight. So we kept my car, but we traded in my husband's truck. He had a tiny little Nissan Frontier, and if you've seen one of those, the back seat is tiny. I don't know that you could fit 1 or 2 car seats back there. So we traded that in and we got an SUV. So we now have a big Expedition. So hopefully that should hold the babies and all of the stuff we need for the babies. But so we got that, and then had to pay for tag and tax and a lot of money. You don't think about all the little money when you buy a car, because we bought it from somebody off Craigslist. My husband found it on Craigslist from an individual. So I was excited. So now we have for sure a car that is going to be big enough that we can carry all of our kids around in. And so then some other symptoms that I had last week, at night, and it just happens at night, my fingers have started to swell. And not as much like just visually look swollen, but I can feel like in my joints when I try and bend my fingers, it's sore, they're tight, so I can tell that they are starting to swell a little bit, but luckily it's not, a lot. And that's the only thing that seems to be swelling right now is my fingers. So I just try and drink water, and I try and really cut back on the sugar and salt, because I have had the biggest sweet tooth this pregnancy. So just try and cut back on those to help it. It doesn't happen every day, but some days, especially if I'm more active, by the evening, you know, I can just feel like my fingers are swollen and they're sore. We had an appointment with the perinatologist on Thursday, and this was the appointment because I go in every 2 weeks. 2 weeks to check my cervix, and then they'll look, you know, just make sure the babies are doing okay, moving around, and have heartbeats. And then 2 weeks, every 2 weeks for checking and measuring the babies. So it's like 4 weeks, I go get the babies measured. Every 4 weeks, I get my cervix checked. But so it works out that I go every 2 weeks. And so they did that. The babies were all moving around a lot. The sizes, they are all different sizes. Baby B, which, this is another thing, when we went and got the ultrasound to find out genders, just like the fun ultrasound, they had said 2 boys and a girl. So we were planning for 2 boys and a girl. And luckily it had only been like a week and a half. But now it looks like it's 2 girls and a boy. So they couldn't tell for sure. Baby B is our stubborn baby that's the smallest, so it's still kind of hard to tell. So hopefully this next week when I go, we can find out for sure. But so it might be 2 girls and a boy. But baby B is measuring the smallest because at 17 weeks, 3 days, because they're at the point where they measure the head, the arm bone, the femur, and the waist. I think they like kind of cut it like you were looking just at half the baby, and they measured like the stomach, and they said at the waist. So baby C was measuring right on, like averaging all of the measurements added up to like an average of 17 weeks, you know, plus in the 17-week mark. Baby A was measuring in the 16-week mark, because she didn't actually like tell me the exact, but just from the measurements, they were, you know, high. There was like a 15-week 6-day, and then everything else was middle of 16 weeks. And baby B was measuring in the 15 weeks. Baby B's been the one, if you remember, from the beginning that has been smaller. From the first ultrasounds, where our reproductive endocrinologist told us, you know, this baby might not make it, it's smaller. And then they caught up, and they were all the same size, and now it's kind of falling back again. So they did say they're a little worried. It's only 2 weeks behind, so it's not, they said, you know, that's in an okay range. We just want to make sure that we keep an eye on it because the fluid was a little bit low. So she said there's nothing really we can do about that, but I have been trying to drink a lot of water and eat more, because some days I don't eat even as much as I did before I was pregnant because I have no appetite. I just feel like I can't eat anything. So I'm trying to eat more to make sure that I'm getting enough nutrients in, that all of the babies can have what they need. But so there was that little concern. And then baby C, the one who's the good size, is the boy. We know baby A is a girl and that baby C is a boy. Baby B is the one we're just waiting on. But so baby C, our little boy, he has fluid on his kidneys. So they said finding it this early, like 75% chance that it just goes away on its own. And I asked her, because when I was little, I had kidney reflux. And she said that might be what it is, but they would just have to monitor it, and they would find out after the baby was born. And at that point, they can still outgrow it. I think, at least for when I was young, at 5, they waited until you were 5, and if you hadn't outgrown it by age 5, then you have surgery. And for those of you who don't know what kidney reflux is, there's a flap of skin between the kidneys and the bladder, and now this is me remembering back forever ago, but where the flap doesn't close fully. So when the kidneys produce the urine that sends to the bladder, the flap of skin doesn't close, so some of it comes back up into the kidneys. So it causes kidney infections. The way they found mine was when I was 18 months. Okay, so my camera cut off, and then I realized that cutting half of my head off in that video, so I do apologize that maybe you can't see my face in the whole thing. But like I was saying, as far as movement goes, for a couple weeks I've been feeling what I think, I wouldn't really describe them as flutters, which is why I had a hard time saying for sure I think this is the baby's moving. Because it's almost more like a rolling feeling. You know, like if you eat something and then like you feel your body digesting it, and it's kind of just like a rolling. That's the best way to describe it. I don't know. Because when people talk about flutters, I'm like, it feels nothing like a flutter. So that baby A, because baby A is right on my cervix, and they told me, you know, that'll be the first one that I'd probably feel. So I have been feeling, especially if I'm sitting down and my stomach is kind of more scrunched up, I can feel sometimes baby A rolling around. Baby B, I feel like stretching. Not as much that I feel the baby, but I can feel like my uterus stretching, and this is where this is the side I've had the round ligament pain on. But yeah, I haven't really felt like baby B move as much. And then baby C, the placenta is anterior, I think is the word, where the placenta is on the top between, you know, my uterus and like on the front, not towards the back. And so they said, you know, it'll be longer before I can feel baby C moving, even though he's the biggest. So that's all. Like, I haven't felt definite like kicks, but it has been like kind of the rolling feeling. And then as far as cravings go for week 17, Fruit Loops. I've had the biggest Fruit Loops craving. I got them at the grocery store, and I eat like at least one bowl a day, sometimes two. Just love Fruit Loops. And I found this recipe on Pinterest a while ago, like where you take a little bagel and you put pizza sauce and pepperoni and cheese. And so I've been eating a lot of little bagel pizzas that I make, but trying to get protein. So it's got cheese and pepperoni, so I feel okay about that one because it does have the protein on it. And then cupcakes. The last couple days I've been really wanting some cupcakes. Luckily I don't have the stuff here at my house to make them. I'm trying not to go to the store to buy the mix, because I know if I have cupcakes here, then I will eat them all. So I am trying to fight that one, but I really want just a chocolate cupcake with some vanilla icing. It just sounds so good. But yeah, that's about all that I have for this week. I will give you, I'm 18 weeks today, so this is the end of 17 weeks, but I will give you the belly shot. And it is almost 6 o'clock, so it's the end of the day. So I've got a full belly, but this is the belly, and I feel like in the last week or so I have had kind of a growth spurt. Hopefully you can see this, to where it has gotten bigger. And some days I feel bigger than others. I think, you know, kind of just wherever the babies are spaced out, but definitely growing, and it's nice and firm. So I will talk to you guys next week.